Welcome to Elizabeth's Stories. Today, we follow Margaret Patterson, a 72-year-old retiree who transforms a chaotic family Christmas invasion into a lesson on boundaries and respect. Through wit and resolve, she reclaims her home and forges new traditions. Subscribe and hit the bell for weekly stories uncovering life's truths. Share your thoughts below. Let's start the story. The ocean whispers secrets to those who listen, and at 72, I've learned to hear its truths. My name is Margaret Patterson, and I stand in the kitchen of my newly acquired beach house in Myrtle Beach, a sanctuary of white cabinets and gleaming granite countertops that catch the morning light like a promise. The waves beyond my window roll in with a rhythm that feels alive, as if they're conspiring with me, guarding a mystery I've yet to unravel. This house is more than a home. It's a testament to my independence, a fortress built from the ashes of loss and the courage to start anew. But today the air feels heavy with an unspoken threat, a shadow creeping toward my haven. My phone rings, shattering the stillness, and the voice on the other end ignites a spark of unease that will soon set my world ablaze. It's Crystal, my daughter-in-law, her voice syrupy with a confidence that borders on arrogance. "Margaret," she says, as if bestowing a favor, "we've decided to spend Christmas at your beach house. Me, my parents, my siblings, their kids, a few cousins, 17 of us arriving Christmas Eve, staying through New Year's. Have everything ready." Her words land like a stone in still water, rippling through my calm. 17 people, uninvited, unconsulted, presuming to claim my space during the most lucrative week of the year. I grip the phone tighter, my pulse quickening, not with fear, but with a strange, simmering resolve. Something about her tone, a hint of calculation, a whisper of entitlement feels like a challenge, a puzzle I'm meant to solve. I set the phone down and step onto the deck, letting the salt air cool my thoughts. The ocean stretches before me, vast and unknowable, its surface hiding depths where secrets swim like shadows. I've always believed that places hold memories that walls and waves can speak, if you know how to listen. This house, my refuge, has a story of its own, one I purchased 3 months ago, not on a whim, but with purpose. At 72, widowed for 7 years since Harold's passing, I've earned the right to spend my retirement as I see fit. This beach house is my declaration of freedom, a dual-purpose haven, a retreat for my soul and a rental property that hums with income during peak seasons. The real estate agent Beth, a young woman with eyes that saw more than she let on, had called it a gem with secrets. She wasn't wrong. Beth had shown me 15 properties, each one lacking something intangible, until we reached this one. Mrs. Patterson, she'd set her voice low as if sharing a confidence. This house has an energy. Ocean views, modern amenities, prime location. But it's more than that. It chooses its owner. I'd laughed then, but standing here now, I feel it, a pulse beneath the floorboards, a whisper in the walls. The house has already booked solid through March, tourists paying premium rates for its charm. Yet Crystal's call feels like an intrusion, a violation of the unspoken pact between me and this place. I sense a game beginning, one where the stakes are higher than lost rental income. My son David hadn't approved of the purchase. Mom, a beach house. At your age, what if you fall? What if a hurricane hits? His worry, inherited from his father, cloaks a deeper fear that I'm slipping beyond his control. David is a good man, but he underestimates me, sees me as a fragile widow rather than the woman who rebuilt her life after Harold's death. I've managed my finances, my grief, my independence for 7 years, and I'm not about to falter now. But Crystal, oh Crystal, is different. When I first told her about the house, her eyes had gleamed with something I couldn't quite name. "Oh, Margaret, how wonderful," she'd cooed. "We'll have to visit sometime." That sometime has arrived unannounced with the weight of 17 uninvited guests. I returned to the kitchen, my fingers tracing the edge of the countertop smooth as a secret kept. Crystal's voice echoes in my mind her casual assumption that my home is hers to command. 17 people, she'd said as if it were nothing. Parents, siblings, children, cousins, a small army descending on my sanctuary. Family, she'd called them, as if the word alone justified the invasion. I calculate quickly. 8 days during Christmas week, the peak of the rental season, when my house commands $200 a week from strangers who respect its value, strangers who pay. The audacity of her request is staggering, but there's something else beneath it, a thread of intent I can't yet grasp. It's as if Crystal is testing me, probing for weakness, and I wonder if there's more to her plan than a simple holiday gathering. I sit in my favorite armchair, the one angled to catch the ocean's endless dance, and let my thoughts drift. The house hums around me, its energy a quiet ally. I've always trusted my instincts honed over decades of navigating life's twists. When Harold died, I learned to listen to the silences, to the spaces where answers hide. Something about Crystal's call feels orchestrated, as if she's moving pieces on a board I can't yet see. I close my eyes, and the memory of her voice, sweet but with an edge, stirs a vision. A chessboard on the beach waves lapping at the edges, pieces toppling in the tide. I'm a queen in this game, and I won't be toppled. The next morning, I walk the beach at dawn, the sand cool beneath my feet. The horizon is a line of fire, promising a day of clarity or chaos. I've always found answers in motion, in the rhythm of my steps, syncing with the waves. As I walk, I replay Crystal's words, searching for the hidden current beneath them. "Have everything ready," she'd said, as if I were her servant, not her mother-in-law. The nerve of it sparks a fire in me, not anger, but something fiercer resolve. I've spent too long being the accommodating widow, the grandmother who smiles and obliges. This house, this life is mine, and I'll defend it with every ounce of cunning I possess. Back at the house, I pour coffee and sit at the kitchen island, a notebook open before me. I jot down numbers. $1,200 a week. 8 days, 17 people. The math is brutal. Christmas week is the golden goose of rental seasons, with rates soaring to $2,000 or more for a property like mine. Losing that income is one thing, losing my autonomy is another. I imagine my pristine floors marred by sand, my furniture rearranged without consent, my kitchen overrun by entitled guests expecting me to play chef and maid. The image is vivid, almost prophetic, and it stirs a memory of another time I was underestimated. Years ago, when Harold was alive, we hosted a family reunion at our old home. His sister Ellen had arrived with a similar entourage, assuming our house was theirs for the taking. I'd cooked, cleaned, and smiled through their demands, only to find my favorite vase shattered and my hospitality taken for granted. Afterward, Harold had squeezed my hand and said, "You're stronger than they know, Maggie." He was right, but I hadn't fully embraced that strength then. Now, at 72, I'm a different woman, tempered by loss and sharpened by time. Crystal's call is a gauntlet thrown, and I'm ready to pick it up. I call Patricia, my accountant of 12 years, a woman who speaks numbers like poetry. "Patricia," I say, keeping my voice light, hypothetical question. "If I were to rent my beach house to 18 people for 8 days during Christmas week, what's a fair market rate?" She laughs, a knowing sound that tells me she senses the storm brewing. "Margaret, nothing hypothetical about that tone. For a beachfront property like yours, prime season, You're looking at $2,000 minimum, probably closer to $500 with that many people. Maybe more with your amenities. Her words are a key, turning in a lock opening possibilities I hadn't fully considered. $2 to $500. That's what Crystal's invasion will cost me, not counting food utilities or the wear on my nerves. Thank you, Patricia. I say, my mind already racing. You've been very helpful, she chuckles. Margaret, whatever you're planning, I want a front row seat. I hang up and stare at the ocean, its waves glinting like a conspirator's wink. The house seems to hum in approval, its walls whispering encouragement. I'm not just protecting my investment, I'm guarding my sovereignty. Crystal's assumption that I'll roll over is her first mistake, but I sense there's more to her plan, a hidden motive lurking beneath her saccharine words. I've always had a knack for sensing lies, a gift I honed in the years after Harold's death when I navigated a world that underestimated a widow's strength. I spend the afternoon researching my laptop glowing in the dimming light. Local hotels are charging a fortune for Christmas week, $450 a night for a two-bedroom suite at the Marriott, $250 for a standard room at the Hampton Inn. I print out rate sheets, my fingers moving with purpose, as if guided by an unseen hand. The house feels alive around me, its energy pulsing in sync with my resolve. I order a portable printer invoice templates and a credit card reader that syncs with my phone. If Crystal wants to treat my home like a hotel, I'll give her the full experience complete with a bill. As night falls, I walk through the house, touching the walls, the furniture, the door frames. Each surface feels charged, as if the house itself is an ally in the game ahead. I pause in the master bedroom where Crystal's parents will no doubt expect to sleep and imagine their shock when they see my terms. The thought brings a smile sharp and satisfying. I've always believed in signs in the way the universe nudges you toward truth. Tonight, as I stand on the deck, a pod of dolphins arcs through the waves, their silhouettes dark against the moonlit sea. They move in unison, purposeful, and I take it as a sign I'm not alone in this fight. The next morning, I wake to a strange sound, a faint creak from the attic. This house, new as it is, shouldn't creak, but I dismiss it as settling wood. Still, the noise lingers in my mind, a reminder that there are secrets here I haven't yet uncovered. I make coffee and sit at the kitchen table sketching out my plan. Crystal's call wasn't just presumptuous, it was a calculated move, though I can't yet see the endgame. Is she testing me? Trying to assert dominance in our family dynamic? Or is there something more? Something tied to the house itself? Beth's words echo. This house chooses its owner. I wonder if Crystal senses its power, if that's why she's so eager to claim it. I flip through my notebook, now filled with numbers and ideas. The rental income I'll lose is a tangible loss, but the real cost is intangible. My peace, my control, my right to say no. Crystal's family will arrive in 3 weeks, giving me time to prepare. I imagine their cars pulling into my driveway, their voices filling my space, their expectations weighing on me like damp sand. But I'm not the Margaret they expect, the pliable grandmother who bends to their whims. I'm a woman who's faced grief, rebuilt her life, and claimed this house as her own, and I am ready to play their game on my terms. The ocean calls me back to the deck, its rhythm steadying my pulse. I close my eyes and listen, letting the waves guide me. There's a mystery here in Crystal's motives, in the house's whispers, in the challenge I'm about to face. I don't know all the pieces yet, but I know this: I'm no pawn. I'm the queen, and this beach house is my board. Whatever Crystal's planning, she's about to learn that underestimating me was her first mistake, and it won't be her last. The ocean never lies, but people do. As I stand in my beach house kitchen, The waves beyond my window churn with a restless energy mirroring the storm brewing inside me. Crystal's voice lingers in my mind, her audacious declaration that she and her 17 relatives will descend upon my sanctuary for Christmas. No invitation, no discussion, just a command to have everything ready. At 72, I've learned to recognize the scent of betrayal, and her words carry it sharp and metallic like salt on a blade. There's a mystery here, a hidden current beneath her sugary tone, and I'm determined to uncover it. This house, my fortress, hums with a quiet power, as if it's waiting to see how I'll play this game. And play it I will with every ounce of cunning I've honed over decades. Her call came yesterday, and I've spent the night wrestling with its implications. 17 people. Parents, siblings, cousins, children claiming my space for 8 days during the most lucrative week of the year, Christmas week, when my beach house with its ocean views and pristine interiors commands $200 a week from paying guests. Strangers who book months in advance, who respect the value of what I've built. Crystal's assumption that she can waltz in, rearrange my life, and expect me to play hostess is more than presumption. It's a violation. But there's something else, a shadow in her voice, that suggests this isn't just about a family gathering. It feels personal, as if she's testing the boundaries of my strength, probing for cracks in my resolve. I sip my coffee, the bitter warmth grounding me, and gaze at the ocean. The waves roll in relentless, each one whispering a challenge. Will you bend, Margaret, or will you stand? I've bent before in the years after Harold's death, when grief made me pliable, when family assumed my kindness was weakness. Not anymore. This house purchased 3 months ago with my retirement savings is my declaration of independence, a 4-bedroom haven in Myrtle Beach. It's both my retreat and my business booked solid through March with tourists who pay for the privilege of its charm. Crystal's invasion threatens not just my income, but my autonomy, and I sense she knows it. Her casual mention of family feels like a chess move, but I'm no pawn. The memory of her voice, smooth, commanding, with that edge of entitlement, stirs a vision. I see her standing on my deck, her silhouette sharp against the sea, her eyes glinting with something unspoken. Is it greed, control, or something deeper tied to this house? The real estate agent Beth had hinted at its secrets, her words lingering like a riddle. This house chooses its owner. I'd dismissed it as sales talk, but now with Crystal's call echoing in my ears, I wonder, does she sense the house's energy, its quiet power? Is that why she's so eager to claim it? The thought sends a shiver through me, not of fear, but of anticipation. Whatever her game, I'm ready to counter it. I set my coffee down and pace the kitchen, my footsteps echoing on the hardwood. The house feels alive today, its walls humming with a subtle vibration as if it's watching, waiting. I imagine Crystal's family arriving cars clogging my driveway, children running wild, adults demanding my space, my time, my labor. She'd had the gall to suggest sleeping arrangements, her parents in my master bedroom, her sister Jenny's family in the guest suites, the rest figuring something out. And meals, I assume you'll handle most of the cooking, she'd said, as if my kitchen were her personal catering service. We'll chip in for groceries, she added, tossing out a few hundred like a bone to a dog. A few hundred to feed 18 people for 8 days during the holidays. My weekly grocery bill for one is already $150, and I'm not running a charity. The audacity of it sparks a fire in me, but it's not just anger. There's a thrill in it, a challenge I haven't felt since I rebuilt my life after Harold. I sit at the kitchen island, my notebook open, and start calculating. 8 days at $1,200 a week is $1,371. But Christmas week rates are higher, closer to $2,000, maybe $500 for a group this size. Add utilities, cleaning the wear on my furniture, and the cost of my own displacement, and the numbers climb. But it's not just about money. It's about respect, about the unspoken pact I made with this house when I signed the deed to protect it, to honor its worth. Crystal's trying to break that pact, and I won't let her. I close my eyes, and the house seems to whisper its voice, a low hum in the walls. She underestimates you, Margaret. They all do. I smile a sharp, private smile and open my eyes to the ocean's endless dance. The waves are darker today, their crests tipped with foam, as if they're conspiring with me. I've always trusted my instincts, a gift sharpened by years of navigating grief and betrayal. When Harold died, I learned to read people, to sense the lies beneath their smiles. Crystal's call wasn't just a request, it was a move in a game I didn't start but will finish. I don't know her end game yet, but I know this: she's underestimated the wrong woman. I pick up the phone and call Beth, the real estate agent who sold me this house. Her voice is warm but cautious, as if she senses the storm I'm brewing. "Margaret." "How's the house treating you?" she asks. I hear a smile in her words, but also something else, a knowing edge, like she's waiting for me to uncover something. "It's perfect," I say, keeping my tone light. "But I have a question. You mentioned this house has an energy secrets. Care to elaborate?" There's a pause long enough to make my skin prickle. "Some houses hold stories," she says finally. "Yours. It's particular. It doesn't let just anyone in. Be careful who you invite, Margaret. Not everyone belongs." Her words hang in the air, a warning wrapped in mystery. I thank her and hang up, my mind racing. Is Crystal's invasion about more than a free vacation? Does she know something about this house that I don't? The thought is absurd, yet it clings to me like damp sand. I shake it off and focus on the task at hand. If Crystal wants to treat my home like a hotel, I'll give her the full experience, complete with a price tag. But first, I need to understand the battlefield. I walk through the house, my fingers brushing the walls, the furniture, the door frames. Each touch feels like a pulse, as if the house is alive, an ally in the fight ahead. In the master bedroom, I imagine Crystal's parents, Henry and Susan Walsh, names I've heard, but faces I barely know, claiming my space. I picture Jenny's children tracking sand across my floors, cousins lounging on my furniture, Crystal orchestrating it all with that calculated smile. The image is vivid, almost too vivid, like a vision sent by the house itself. I pause at the window, the ocean stretching before me, and notice something odd. A single seashell on the sill, perfectly placed as if left for me to find. It's small, spiral-shaped, with a faint shimmer that catches the light. I pick it up and it feels warm, alive, as if it holds a secret. I slip it into my pocket, a talisman for the battle to come. The next day, I drive to the local library, a quaint building with salt-stained windows and a view of the sea. I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but Beth's words have stirred something in me. I ask the librarian, an older woman with eyes like the ocean itself, for records on my property. She studies me for a moment, then leads me to a dusty archive room. That house has a history, she says, her voice low. Built in the 1920s, owned by a woman who ran it as a boarding house during the Great Depression. She was particular about her guests. Some say she could see through people, knew their intentions before they did. I nod, my pulse quickening. Any stories about unusual events, I ask? She smiles, a knowing glint in her eyes. Stories, yes. Things moving on their own, voices in the walls. Nothing harmful, mind you, just protective. I leave with a stack of old newspaper clippings and a sense that the house is more than it seems. Back home, I spread the clippings on the kitchen table, the ocean's hum, a constant companion. The articles are vague mentions of the boarding house's reputation guests who left abruptly, a woman named Clara who guarded her home like a sentinel. One clipping, yellowed and brittle, describes an incident in 1934. A family tried to stay without paying, and the next morning their belongings were found neatly packed outside, the doors locked. No explanation, just a note. This house chooses its guests. The words send a chill through me, but also a spark of recognition. Clara's spirit, if it lingers, is on my side. I lean back, the seashell in my pocket warm against my thigh. The house creaks above me, a sound I've heard before but now feels deliberate, like a nudge. I'm starting to believe Beth and the librarian that this house has a will of its own. And it's chosen me. Crystal's invasion isn't just a personal slight, it's a challenge to the house itself, a test of who belongs. I smile, a plan forming. If Crystal wants to play, I'll set the rules. I spend the afternoon sketching out my strategy. I calculate the cost of her stay, $2,500 for the week plus utilities cleaning and a damage deposit. I imagine her face when I present the bill, the shock in her eyes when she realizes I'm not the pushover she expected. But it's more than money. It's about power, about teaching her that family doesn't mean entitlement. I sense there's a deeper motive behind her plan, something tied to the house's history, its energy. Why now? Why this house? The questions nag at me, but I push them aside. For now, I need to prepare. I call a local print shop and order custom invoice templates, each one designed to look official, professional. I buy a small credit card reader, its sleek design a symbol of my resolve. I draft a set of house rules, no dishes left in the sink, no unauthorized rearranging of furniture, no tampering with the garbage disposal. The rules feel like a spell, a ward to protect my sanctuary. As I work, the house seems to hum in approval, the lights flickering briefly as if nodding. I pause my hand on the countertop and whisper, "We're in this together, aren't we?" The silence that follows feels like agreement. That night, I dream of the ocean. I'm standing on the beach, the waves lapping at my feet, the seashell glowing in my hand. A woman appears, her face blurred, but her presence strong like the tide itself. "They'll come," she says, her voice echoing with the waves. "But you're stronger than they know." I wake with a start, the dream lingering like salt on my skin. The house is quiet, but the air feels charged, as if something is waking. I check the attic, drawn by the creak I heard before, but find nothing, just boxes and dust. Yet the feeling persists. I'm not alone. 3 weeks remain until Christmas Eve, when Crystal's convoy will arrive. I spend them preparing my actions, methodical, but fueled by a fire I haven't felt in years. I polish the floors, stock the pantry, and place the seashell on my bedside table, a reminder of the house's secrets. Each night, I walk the beach, letting the waves guide my thoughts. I sense Crystal's plan is more than a holiday whim, that she's after something control, perhaps, or something tied to the house's past. But I'm ready. The ocean, the house, and I are aligned, a trinity of strength against whatever she brings. As the days count down, the house grows quieter, as if holding its breath. The creaks have stopped, but the energy remains a pulse I feel in my bones. I stand on the deck, watching the horizon, and know this Crystal's invasion is the opening move in a game I didn't choose, but will win. The waves whisper one last time, their message clear. "This is your house, Margaret. Make them pay." The ocean has a way of teaching patience, its waves rolling in with a rhythm that says, "Wait, watch, then strike." I stand in my beach house kitchen, the seashell from the windowsill warm in my palm, its faint shimmer catching the morning light like a secret shared. 3 weeks remain until Crystal and her 17 relatives descend upon my sanctuary, and I'm not the woman they expect, a pliable grandmother softened by age and grief. At 72, I'm a fortress tempered by loss and sharpened by resolve. Crystal's call, with its audacious demand to have everything ready, was a gauntlet thrown, but I sense a deeper game at play, a hidden motive lurking beneath her saccharine tone. This house, my ally, hums with an energy that feels alive, and together we're crafting a counter strategy that will turn her invasion into a lesson she'll never forget. The past few days have been a whirlwind of intuition and action. Crystal's voice, smooth as honey but sharp with entitlement, echoes in my mind, each word a clue to a puzzle I'm only beginning to unravel. 17 of us arriving Christmas Eve, staying through New Year's. No permission sought, no consideration for the tada $500 in rental income I'll lose during the peak holiday week, nor for the cost of feeding and housing her entourage. She'd suggested I cook as if my kitchen were her personal catering service and offered a few hundred for groceries, a laughable sum for 18 people over 8 days. The audacity is breathtaking, but it's the shadow in her tone, calculated, almost predatory, that keeps me up at night. What does she want? Control my home? Or something tied to the house's whispered secrets? Beth, the real estate agent, had warned me. This house chooses its owner. The librarian's stories of Clara, the 1930s boarding house matriarch who guarded her home with uncanny precision, linger like salt in the air. The newspaper clipping about the family whose belongings were mysteriously packed and left outside in 1934 feels like a message, a blueprint. The house creaked again last night, a low groan from the attic, and I found another seashell on the kitchen counter this morning, identical to the first as if placed by an unseen hand. I don't believe in ghosts, not exactly, but I feel a presence here, a strength that aligns with my own. Clara, if she lingers, is on my side, and I'm ready to wield her legacy. I sit at the kitchen island, my notebook open, numbers sprawling across the page like battle plans. The math is stark, $2,500 for the week, plus utilities cleaning and a damage deposit for 18 people. But this isn't just about money. It's about power, about teaching Crystal that family doesn't mean entitlement. I sense she's testing me, probing for weakness, perhaps drawn to the house's energy without understanding it. The seashells, the creaks, the librarian's tales, they all point to something more, a mystery I'll uncover as I prepare. For now, my focus is clear. If Crystal wants to treat my home like a hotel, I'll run it like one, with every detail calculated to reclaim my authority. I call Patricia, my accountant of 12 years, her voice a steady anchor in the storm I'm brewing. Patricia. I say my tone deceptively casual if I were to rent my beach house to 18 people for 8 days during Christmas week. What's a fair market rate? She laughs, a sound rich with understanding. Margaret. I know that tone. You're up to something. For a property like yours, oceanfront, 4 bedrooms, premium amenities, you're looking at 2,000 minimum, likely 500, maybe 3,000 with that many guests. Christmas week is gold. Her words are a spark igniting my plan. And additional costs, I ask. Utilities, cleaning damages, easily, another 500. You're running a business, not a charity. Thank you, Patricia. I say, my mind already spinning. This is going to be interesting, she chuckles. Margaret, I'd pay to see what you're cooking up. I hang up the numbers dancing in my head. 2,500 to 3,000 plus extras. That's what Crystal's invasion will cost me, not counting the emotional toll of hosting her demanding clan. I imagine her parents, Henry and Susan Walsh, claiming my master bedroom, their entitlement as palpable as the salt air. Jenny's children tracking sand across my floors, cousins clogging my drains, Crystal orchestrating it all with that calculated smile. The image is vivid, almost prophetic, and it fuels my resolve. I spend the morning researching my laptop glowing in the dim light of the living room. The ocean outside is restless waves crashing with a force that mirrors my mood. Local hotels are charging exorbitant rates for Christmas week $450 a night, for a two-bedroom suite at the Marriott $250, for a standard room at the Hampton Inn. I print out rate sheets, each one a weapon in my arsenal. If Crystal wants a hotel, I'll give her one complete with a bill. I order a portable printer invoice templates with a sleek professional design and a credit card reader that syncs with my phone. The house hums as I work the lights flickering briefly as if approving my plan. I pause my hand on the countertop and whisper, "You're with me, aren't you?" The silence feels like a nod. The attic creaks again, louder this time, drawing me upstairs. The air is cooler here, heavy with the scent of old wood and salt. I find nothing out of place, just boxes and dust, but the seashell on my bedside table that glows faintly when I return its shimmer almost otherworldly. I slip it into my pocket next to the first and feel a surge of strength as if the house is lending me its power. The librarian's words echo. Clara could see through people, knew their intentions. I wonder if I'm developing that gift if the house is sharpening my instincts. Crystal's motives are still a shadow, but I sense they're tied to this place, to its history. Why else would she be so bold, so certain, and I'd comply? I drive to the beachfront market where vendors sell everything from fresh seafood to handmade trinkets. An old man with eyes like sea glass watches me from his stall, his hands carving a piece of driftwood into a dolphin. "You live in the Clara house," he says, not a question. I nod, startled. "It's got a spirit, that one. Protects its own. Be careful who you let in." His words send a chill through me, but I buy a small, carved shell from him, its service etched with waves. For luck, he says, his smile cryptic. I thank him and leave the shell joining the others in my pocket, a growing collection of talismans. Back home, I draft the invoices, each one personalized with guest names and room assignments. The master suite for Henry and Susan, $300 a night. The family suites for Jenny's brood, $250 each. The remaining rooms, varying by amenities, range from $850 to $200. I add a cleaning fee, a resort fee for Wi-Fi and cable, and a refundable damage deposit. The total for 8 days, $5, $100 a family discount I'll present with a smile. The house seems to pulse as I print the invoices, the printer's hum blending with the waves outside. I laminate a set of house rules: no dishes in the sink, clean as you go. No tampering with the garbage disposal. Each rule feels like a ward, a spell to protect my sanctuary. I walk through the house, checking every detail. The master bedroom with its king-size bed and jacuzzi tub is pristine, but I imagine Susan rearranging my belongings, her arthritis an excuse for entitlement. The guest rooms with their bunk beds and ocean views are ready but vulnerable to Jenny's children. The living room with its plush furniture and view of the sea feels like a stage for the drama to come. I pause at the attic door, tempted to explore again, but the seashells in my pocket warm, as if urging me to focus. The house is my partner in this, and I trust its guidance. That night, I dream of Clara. She's a shadow in a long dress, standing on the beach, her hair whipping in the wind. "They'll come," she says, her voice like the tide. "But you're the keeper now. Guard what's yours." I wake with a start, the seashells glowing faintly on my bedside table. The house is silent, but the air feels charged, as if Clara's spirit lingers watching. I don't believe in ghosts, not really, but I feel her strength, her resolve merging with my own. The dream is a warning, a call to action, and I am ready to answer. The next morning, I call a local cleaning service arranging for a post departure deep clean. Christmas week is tough, the manager says. You sure you want that many guests? I laugh, a sound sharper than I intend. They're not guests, they're family. He chuckles, unaware of the storm I'm brewing. I stock the pantry with basics coffee cereal bread, but nothing extravagant. Crystal's few hundred won't cover steak dinners, and I'm not footing the bill. I imagine her face when she sees the invoices, the shock in her eyes when she realizes I'm not the pushover she expected. The thought is satisfying, but the mystery nags at me why this house, why now I return to the library, driven by a need to know more. The librarian, her eyes sharp as ever, hands me another clipping, this one from 1952. It describes a woman who tried to sell the house without Clara's heir's consent, only to find the deed missing, the locks changed overnight. The house protects itself, the librarian says, her voice low. Clara didn't like freeloaders. I nod, the pieces clicking into place. Crystal's invasion feels like a repeat of history, a challenge to the house's will. But what does she want? Money, power, or something tied to the house's secrets? I spend the final week refining my plan. I create a service menu breakfast at $45 per person, lunch at $35 dinner from $50 to $75. Housekeeping, laundry, grocery delivery, all extra, all priced to reflect the value of my time and space. The house hums as I work the lights flickering in patterns that feel deliberate. One night, I find a third seashell on the deck, its surface etched with a spiral that mirrors the others. I add it to my collection, feeling their warmth, their weight like a promise. The house is speaking, and I'm listening. I walk the beach at dawn, the shells in my pocket a quiet comfort. The ocean is calm today, its surface a mirror reflecting the sky. I think of Harold, his voice in my ear. You're stronger than they know, Maggie. He was right, but it took this house, this challenge, to make me see it. Crystal's motives are still a shadow, but I sense they're tied to the house's history, its power. The librarian's stories, the seashells, the dreams, they all point to a truth I'll uncover when the time comes. For now, I prepare. The day before Christmas Eve, I set the stage. I place the invoices in a sleek folder labeled Walsh Family, Christmas 2024. The house rules laminated and displayed on the kitchen counter. The credit card reader is charged its presence, a symbol of my resolve. I walk through the house one last time, touching the walls, the furniture, the door frames. Each surface feels alive, pulsing with anticipation. The attic creaks softer now, as if the house is ready, waiting. I stand on the deck, the ocean stretching before me, and whisper, "We're ready, Clara." The waves answer with a surge, and I know this is my house, my game, and Crystal's about to learn the rules. The ocean roars today, its waves crashing against the shore, with a fury that mirrors the storm in my chest. It's Christmas Eve, and the air in my Myrtle Beach house hums with anticipation, as if the walls themselves are bracing for the invasion. I stand on the deck, the three seashells in my pocket warm against my thigh, their faint shimmer a reminder of the house's secrets. At 72, I'm no stranger to battles, but this one feels different, charged with a mystery I've yet to unravel. Crystal and her 17 relatives are due to arrive this afternoon, their uninvited presence a violation of my sanctuary. I've spent weeks preparing, turning their audacity into my advantage, and now with my invoices ready and my resolve like steel, I'm ready to face them. The house, my ally, whispers its approval, a soft creak from the attic sealing our pact. The morning is quiet, too quiet, as if the world is holding its breath. I walk through the house, checking every detail, the laminated house rules on the kitchen counter, the folder labeled Walsh Family Christmas 2024, filled with personalized invoices the credit card reader charged, and waiting. Each step feels like a ritual, a spell to protect my domain. The seashells, my talismans, pulse with warmth, and I sense Clara, the house's former guardian, watching from the shadows. Her story. Her uncanny ability to see through people to protect her home has become my guide. Crystal's call 3 weeks ago, with its commanding tone and hidden motives, was a gauntlet thrown, and I'm ready to pick it up. But the question lingers. What does she want the house control? Or something tied to the secrets buried in these walls? I pause in the master bedroom where Crystal's parents, Henry and Susan Walsh, will expect to sleep. The king-size bed is pristine, the jacuzzi tub gleaming, but I imagine Susan's hands rearranging my belongings. Her arthritis, an excuse for entitlement. The guest rooms, with their bunk beds and ocean views, are ready but vulnerable to Jenny's children. The living room, my stage for the confrontation, glows with morning light, the ocean beyond a restless ally. I touch the walls, feeling their pulse, and whisper, "We're ready, Clara." The house answers with a flicker of the lights, a sign I've come to trust. Whatever Crystal's game, I'm playing to win. At 2 p.m., the first car pulls into my circular driveway, followed by 4 more, a convoy of chaos unloading luggage and voices. I watch from the living room window, my heart steady, but my senses sharp. Children spill out, running across my lawn, their shoes already dusted with sand. Adults shout instructions over the ocean's roar, their voices grating against the house's calm. Crystal emerges from the lead car, her white sundress catching the wind, her smile practiced but predatory. She's younger than I expected, her beauty sharp-edged, like a blade hidden in silk. Her parents, Henry and Susan, follow, their faces etched with entitlement as if they own this place. Jenny, Crystal's sister, corrals 3 children, their sandy feet already tracking across my entryway before I've even opened the door. Margaret Crystal calls, her arms spread wide as if we're old friends rather than adversaries. Isn't this perfect? Everyone's so excited to be here. Her hug is calculated, a performance for the others, but I feel the challenge in it, a test of my resolve. "I hope you don't mind," she adds, gesturing to 2 grocery bags. We stopped for some basics. I peer inside chips, a case of beer, hot dogs. For 18 people, for 8 days. My mental calculator whirs, and I suppress a smile. The basics won't last a day, and I'm not their caterer. Of course I say, my voice honey sweet, but edged with steel. "Let me show you to your accommodations." I lead them inside, my demeanor that of a seasoned hotel manager, not a grandmother to be walked over. The house hums its energy, a quiet ally. "Henry and Susan, you'll be in the Ocean View Master Suite," I announce, opening the door to my bedroom. Susan immediately begins rearranging my belongings, her fingers brushing my seashell collection on the dresser. The shells pulse a warning, and I catch her eye. She pauses, uncertain, as if sensing something she can't name. "Jenny, you and your family have the family suite." I continue, guiding them to the guest rooms. The children are already jumping on the beds, their sandy feet staining my white comforters. Crystal raises an eyebrow. "You're being very formal, Margaret," she says, her tone probing as if testing for weakness. "I want everyone to feel welcome." I reply, my smile unwavering. This is, after all, a full-service accommodation. The words land like a stone in still water, and I see a flicker of unease in her eyes. She knows something's coming, but not what. By 6 p.m., the house is a battlefield. Towels are strewn across the floor, the television blares, and a teenager's music echoes from the bathroom. Crystal's cousin has already clogged the garbage disposal with shrimp shells, and her nephew has knocked over a decorative lighthouse figurine, its shards glinting on the hardwood. The house creaks louder now, as if protesting the invasion. Susan complains about the room temperature. Henry demands the Wi-Fi password for the third time, and Jenny's youngest wails over stolen goldfish crackers. Crystal stands in the kitchen, her silk pajamas, a stark contrast to the chaos, and calls out, "Margaret, what's for dinner? Everyone's starving." I survey the scene. 18 people sprawled across my living room, looking at me like I'm their personal chef, and feel the house's energy surge a pulse in the walls, urging me to act. This is the moment I've been waiting. For the moment, Clara's legacy and my strength align. I pull out my phone and the credit card reader, their presence a quiet threat. Before we discuss dinner, I say, my voice calm but commanding. I have some paperwork to handle. I reach into my folder and distribute 18 invoices, each one personalized with a guest's name and room assignment. The room falls silent. The only sound the distant crash of waves. "What's this?" "Crystal," asks, her voice sharp as she stares at the invoice in her hand. I hand out the rest, watching their faces freeze in shock. Henry's turns an alarming shade of red. Susan's eyes narrow, and Jenny's husband, Brad, lets out a nervous laugh. "Your accommodation charges." I say, my tone as smooth as the ocean's surface. The Ocean View Master Suite is $300 per night. The family suites are $250 each. Other rooms vary by amenities. The total for your group for 8 days is $5,100, including cleaning fees, resort fees, and a refundable damage deposit. I've applied a family discount. The silence is electric, 18 people clutching pieces of paper that spell out their miscalculation. Henry speaks first, his voice a growl. "Is this a joke?" I meet his gaze unflinching. "Not at all, Mr. Walsh. This is a professional vacation rental during peak season. You're getting premium accommodations at a fair rate." Crystal's voice rises an octave higher. "Margaret, we're family." I nod, my smile unwavering. "Indeed. And family doesn't take advantage of each other. You made reservations without consulting me during the most profitable week of the year. I've provided exactly what you requested." Brad's laugh turns bitter. "This is insane. We drove 6 hours for a family Christmas, and you're treating us like customers." I tilt my head, my voice gentle but firm. "You booked my property for 8 days, Brad. I'm running a business, not a charity." Crystal scans her invoice, her eyes widening at the additional charges. "Cleaning fee, resort fee, damage deposit." I nod. "Standard hospitality charges. The cleaning fee covers post-departure deep cleaning. The resort fee includes Wi-Fi cable and amenities. The damage deposit is refundable, assuming no further lighthouses are broken." Susan cuts in, her voice shrill. "This is outrageous. We're leaving." I shrug, my calm unshaken. "That's your choice, Susan. But Christmas Eve hotel availability in Myrtle Beach is limited, and rates are higher than mine. The nearest motel is $350 a night if you can find a room. I've done my research, and the house knows it, its lights flickering briefly as if chuckling. Crystal is texting furiously, likely to David, her face pale. "This is crazy, Margaret. We can't afford this." I nod sympathetically. Unexpected expenses are challenging. I accept cash credit or payment plans. We can arrange installments if needed. Henry curses words I haven't heard since Harold's construction days, while Susan mutters about lawyers as if legal recourse exists for fair market rates. Brad tries to mediate. Can't we work something out? We'll pay for groceries, help with utilities. I pull out a second folder labeled Additional Services and hand him a laminated menu. Absolutely. Breakfast is $45 per person per day, lunch. $35 dinner, $50 to $75. Housekeeping and grocery delivery are extra. The math sinks in their faces, crumpling as the reality hits. Crystal's nephew, still texting, looks up in panic. There's nowhere else to stay. Everything's booked. The nearest campground is 30 miles inland. The house creaks, a loud groan from the attic, and everyone freezes. The lights flicker again, longer this time, and I feel the seashells pulse in my pocket. Clara's presence, or the house's, is palpable, a silent ally in this standoff. Crystal's eyes dart to the ceiling, as if sensing something she can't explain. I seize the moment. The house has rules. I say, pointing to the laminated sheet on the counter. No dishes in the sink. Clean as you go. No tampering with the garbage disposal after the shrimp incident. Susan snorts. You're charging us like a hotel, but expect us to clean. I smile, unruffled. The base rate covers accommodation. Services are extra. Would you like the menu? Before she can answer, my phone rings. David's name flashes on the screen, and the room goes still, every eye on me. I put the call on speaker, my voice warm. Hello, sweetheart. Merry Christmas Eve. David's voice is tight, strained. Mom, what's going on? Crystal texted me some crazy story about you charging them to stay. The silence is deafening, the ocean's roar, the only sound. I'm running my business professionally, I say. Crystal booked 18 people during peak season without consulting me. I've provided what she requested. David pauses, processing. She didn't discuss this with you. I hear the chill in his voice. 3 days' notice, David. I canceled paying customers. Crystal's face goes from pale to green. I thought it would be a nice surprise, she stammers, her voice small. David's tone hardens. A surprise. For 18 people without checking our budget or with Mom. The room is a tableau of guilt, everyone staring at the floor. David, I say gently, they've paid for their accommodations. They're welcome to stay. I'm just running my property as a business. He exhales, the sound heavy. How much Crystal Henry answers when she can't. $5, $100. The silence stretches, and I imagine David's shock. Mom, I'll call you back. Crystal and I need to talk. I hang up the room, frozen, 18 people afraid to move, as if the house itself is judging them. The seashells burn in my pocket, and the attic creaks again, a low, deliberate sound. Crystal's eyes flick upward, her bravado crumbling. I feel Clara's presence, or the house's stronger now, as if it's feeding off my strength. Now I say, my voice pleasant but unyielding, who's hungry? The question hangs a challenge unanswered as the waves crash outside their rhythm, a drumbeat of victory. But the confrontation isn't over. As I step into the kitchen, I notice a drawer slightly ajar, one I didn't open. Inside, another seashell, identical to the others, its spiral glowing faintly. I slip it into my pocket, my heart racing. The house is speaking, warning me that Crystal's game isn't done. There's more to her plans, something tied to this place, and I'm determined to uncover it before she makes her next move. The ocean hums tonight, its waves a chorus of secrets, whispering truths I'm only beginning to grasp. I stand in my Myrtle Beach beach house, the 4 seashells in my pocket pulsing with a warmth that feels alive, as if the house itself is breathing with me. The confrontation earlier today, handing out invoices to Crystal's stunned family, has left the air charged, the silence in my living room heavy with unspoken questions. At 72, I've faced grief betrayal and the quiet erosion of my own boundaries. But tonight, I feel like a queen on her throne, the house my kingdom, its energy my shield. Crystal's audacious plan to invade my sanctuary with 17 uninvited relatives during Christmas week was a gauntlet thrown, and I've met it with a strength I didn't know I still possessed. But the game isn't over. The house creaks above a deliberate sound from the attic, and I sense Clara, the guardian of this place, urging me to dig deeper. There's a truth hiding in Crystal's motives, and I'm about to uncover it. The living room is a frozen tableau, 18 faces staring at me, their invoices clutched like evidence of their miscalculation. Crystal's eyes dart to the ceiling where the attic creaked moments ago, her bravado crumbling under the weight of my resolve and the house's silent judgment. Henry Walsh. Her father stands red-faced, his $100 bills still scattered on my coffee table, a testament to his grudging surrender. Susan, his wife, mutters about lawyers, her voice thin and unconvincing. Jenny's husband, Brad, tries to mediate his offer to work something out, met with my laminated service menu, its prices a stark reminder of their overreach. The children are quiet now, sensing the tension, while Crystal's teenage nephew, still texting, confirms what I already knew: there's nowhere else to stay. The house's lights flicker a soft pulse, as if Clara is watching, approving. I sit in my favorite armchair, the one angled to catch the ocean's endless dance, and let the silence stretch. The seashells in my pocket burn their warmth, a steadying force. Crystal's text to David. My son has sparked a storm, and his call earlier, his voice tight with betrayal, hinted at the truth I'm about to uncover. Now I say, my voice calm but unyielding. Who's hungry? The question is a challenge, a pivot from their shock to the reality of their situation. They expected a free holiday, a grandmother to cook and clean, but I've turned their game upside down. The house hums its energy, a quiet ally, and I feel Clara's presence, her strength merging with mine. Crystal's phone buzzes again, David's name flashing on the screen. She hesitates, her face pale, then steps onto the deck, the glass doors framing her like a portrait of guilt. We can see her through the glass, her hands gesturing wildly, her voice rising, though the words are muffled. The family watches their earlier outrage replaced by unease. Henry shifts his bluster, fading, while Susan rearranges my seashell collection on the dresser, her fingers trembling as if sensing their power. Jenny tries to soothe her crying toddler, but her eyes are on Crystal, searching for answers. The attic creaks again, sharper this time, and the lights flicker in a pattern that feels deliberate, a warning. I touch the shells in my pocket, their warmth grounding me, and know the house is speaking, urging me to press forward. Crystal returns, her face crumpled, her silk pajamas wrinkled like her composure. "David wants to talk to you," she says quietly, handing me her phone. The room goes still, the only sound the distant crash of waves. I take the phone, my voice warm, but firm. "Hello, sweetheart." David's voice is strained, a mix of anger and disbelief. "Mom, Crystal told me the truth. She never asked your permission, just assumed you'd host everyone for free. She didn't consider the financial impact, or that you run this as a business." I glance at Crystal, her eyes fixed on the floor, and feel a surge of vindication. "She also didn't check with you." I say, my tone gentle but pointed. 3 days' notice for 18 people. "David, I canceled paying customers. The silence on his end is telling a storm brewing." "Crystal, is this true?" he asks, his voice cold. She stammers, her voice barely audible. "I thought it would be a nice surprise for the family." David's exhale is heavy-laced with frustration. You planned an 8-day vacation for 18 people without asking me or Mom, without checking our budget. The family shifts their guilt palpable, as if the house itself is amplifying their shame. David, I say they've paid for their accommodations. The business arrangement is settled. What happens next is up to you all. He pauses, then says, Mom, I'm driving down tonight. Crystal and I need to talk. And I'm sorry. I had no idea. I hang up the room, frozen 18 people afraid to breathe, as if the house might judge them further. The seashells pulse, and I feel Clara's presence, her approval, a quiet hum in the walls. Crystal collapses into a chair, her face in her hands, and for the first time, I see cracks in her facade, not just guilt, but something deeper, a raw, unguarded pain. The house creaks softer now, as if softening too. I'm sorry. She whispers, her voice breaking. I just wanted everyone to have a nice Christmas together. Her words are genuine, not the manipulative tears she tried earlier, and the room shifts, the tension easing slightly. Sit down, Crystal, I say gently, gesturing to the chair beside me. She obeys, her perfect hair a mess, her makeup smudged. The family watches their earlier defiance replaced by curiosity, as if sensing a turning point. When did you plan this? I ask, my voice calm but probing. She wipes her eyes, her voice trembling. 3 weeks ago, I was talking to Mom about how scattered we've been since Grandma Rose died. We haven't all been together since her funeral. I remembered you mentioning the beach house, and it seemed perfect, big enough, beautiful yours. I thought you'd be happy to have us. The mention of Rose Walsh, Crystal's grandmother, sends a ripple through the room. I remember Rose, the family matriarch who orchestrated gatherings with effortless grace, her death 6 months ago, leaving a void. The seashells in my pocket warm, as if the house recognizes her name. So you called everyone and invited them. I say, piecing it together. Crystal nods, miserable. I told them we were having Christmas at your beach house. I didn't say I hadn't asked you. I just assumed it would be fine. Jenny, her sister, speaks up, her voice sharp with realization. Crystal, you said Margaret invited us. You said she was excited to host. Crystal's face crumples further. I know. I panicked when everyone said yes. I thought once you saw how happy we were, you'd be glad we came. The confession hangs in the air raw and unfiltered. Henry, his anger softened, asks quietly, And the money? You didn't think about the cost. Crystal shakes her head. I didn't think about money. I assumed family helps family, that Margaret's house was just sitting here. We needed a place to gather. It seemed obvious. Susan, who's been silent, looks at her daughter with a mix of pity and clarity. Crystal, honey, you can't assume someone will host 18 people for free, even family. Crystal's voice breaks into a sob. I know that now. But everyone had made plans, taken time off, driven from 3 states. I couldn't cancel Christmas. The room is quiet, except for her crying, and the waves outside, their rhythm, a steady heartbeat. The house creaks softly, as if listening, and I feel the shell's pulse, urging me to guide this moment. The truth is out, but it's not the whole truth. I sense a deeper motive, something tied to the house's secrets. The seashells, the creeks, Clara's legacy, they all point to a purpose beyond a poorly planned holiday. Crystal. I say, my voice steady but searching. Why this house? Why now? She looks up. Her eyes red. And for a moment I see something flicker. Fear, perhaps, or recognition. I don't know, she says, but her voice wavers, and the house creaks again, louder, as if calling her bluff. The lights flicker a slow pulse, and Susan gasps her hand on the dresser where the seashells lie. What was that? She whispers. I lean forward, my gaze locked on Crystal. This house has a history. I say, my voice low. It chooses who belongs. You felt something when you called me, didn't you? A pull, a reason to come here. Her eyes widen, and I know I've struck a nerve. I I just thought it was perfect, she stammers. But her hands tremble and the shells in my pocket burn hotter, as if urging me to press further. Tell me, I say, my voice a command. The room holds its breath, the ocean's roar amplifying the tension. Crystal hesitates, then speaks her voice barely above a whisper. Grandma Rose used to talk about this place. She said it was special that it held stories. I thought she was just being sentimental, but when you bought it, I remembered her words. I thought maybe it could bring us back together like she did. The confession is a thread thin, but vital, tying her actions to the house's past. Rose knew something about this place, and Crystal, knowingly or not, was drawn to it. The attic creaks a sharp crack, and the lights dim, then brighten. Jenny's toddler whimpers, and Brad pulls her close, his eyes on the ceiling. Rose was right, I say, my voice steady despite the house's reaction. This house is special, but it doesn't give itself freely. It demands respect. I pause, letting the words sink in. You assumed I'd give you my home, my time, my labor, without asking. That's not family, Crystal. That's taking. Her sobs deepen, genuine now, and I feel a shift not just in her, but in the room. The family is listening, their guilt mingling with a dawning understanding. The house hums, its energy softening, as if satisfied with the truth. I stand my presence commanding the room. You wanted a family Christmas, and you'll have one. But it starts with respect for me, for this house, for each other. I gesture to the invoices. You've paid for your stay. Now we learn how to be a family, not a burden. Henry nods, his earlier bluster gone. You're right, Margaret. We didn't think about what this costs you. Susan, her voice softer, adds, we assumed you'd want us here like Rose always did. I nod, seeing the parallel. Rose chose that role. I didn't. But I'm choosing to teach you something now. The house creaks, a gentle sound, and the lights flicker in a warm pattern, as if Clara approves. The seashells cool slightly, their task complete for now. Crystal wipes her eyes, her voice steadier. I'm sorry, Margaret. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just wanted to fill the gap Rose left. Her honesty is a bridge fragile but real, and I feel the house's energy shift, welcoming the change. I know I say my voice softening, but good intentions don't erase consequences. Let's start over together. The family nods their faces, a mix of relief and shame. Brad speaks up, practical as ever. What now? We're here. We've paid. Christmas is tomorrow. I smile, feeling the house's strength merge with mine. Now we have Christmas. But we do it right. I pull out a notebook, its pages blank but ready. Jenny, you're good with kids. You handle their activities. Brad, you're on grocery shopping and meal planning. Henry, Susan work out sleeping arrangements that respect my space. Crystal, call David and tell him to come. Then you're going to learn how to plan a gathering properly. The room stirs, a spark of purpose igniting. The house hums, its energy warm now, as if guiding us forward. I feel Clara's presence, her legacy, a beacon, and know this is the first lesson boundaries create. Respect, and respect builds family. But the mystery lingers. Rose's connection to this house, Crystal's pull to it, the seashell's warmth. There's more to uncover, and I sense the house will reveal it when the time is right. For now, I stand tall, my heart steady, ready to lead this family into a Christmas that will change us all. The ocean sings tonight, its waves a lullaby of forgiveness and renewal, weaving through the cracks of a day that began with betrayal, but now teeters on the edge of redemption. I stand in my Myrtle Beach beach house, the four seashells in my pocket pulsing gently their warmth, a quiet reminder of the house's watchful presence. The confrontation earlier handing out invoices to Crystal's stunned family, exposing her reckless plan, and hearing her tearful confession has shifted the air, replacing anger with a fragile hope. At 72, I've learned that true strength lies not in holding grudges, but in guiding others to better versions of themselves. The house my ally hums softly, its energy a beacon as I lead this fractured family toward a Christmas they'll never forget. But the mystery lingers, Crystal's connection to this house, Rose's stories, the seashells glow, and I sense the truth is still unfolding hidden in the shadows of Clara's legacy. The living room is quieter now, the chaos of the afternoon replaced by a tentative calm. Crystal sits on the couch, her face raw from crying, her earlier bravado stripped away. Her family, Henry and Susan Walsh, Jenny and Brad, the cousins and children, stand or sit in awkward silence, their invoices tucked away, their guilt a tangible weight. The house creaks softly from the attic, as if Clara is listening her presence a gentle nudge to move forward. The seashells in my pocket cool slightly, their warmth ebbing like the tide signaling a shift. Crystal's confession that she planned this Christmas to fill the void, left by her grandmother Rose, assuming my home was hers to claim, has cracked open a door to understanding. But it's not enough. They need to learn what family truly means, and I'm ready to teach them. Crystal, I say, my voice steady but warm. You wanted a family Christmas, and you'll have one. But it starts with respect and effort. I gesture to the room where the remnants of their arrival's sandy towels, scattered shoes, a broken lighthouse figurine still linger. This house isn't a free hotel. It's my home, my business, and it demands care. She nods, her eyes red but attentive. Henry, his earlier bluster gone, clears his throat. You're right, Margaret. We messed up. What can we do now? His sincerity is a start, and the house hums its lights, flickering briefly in approval. I pull out my notebook, its pages now, a map for redemption. We're going to have a Christmas that honors this house and each other, I say. Jenny, you're good with kids. You'll organize their activities, crafts, games, something to keep them from tracking sand everywhere. Jenny nods, her toddler asleep in her arms, a spark of purpose in her eyes. Brad, you're on groceries and meal planning. No more hot dogs and beer. We need real food for 18 people. Brad grins, relieved to have a task. Henry, Susan, you'll coordinate sleeping arrangements. No one touches my master bedroom or rearranges my things without asking. Susan flushes her hand still on the dresser, where my seashells rest, their faint glow, unnoticed by her, but vivid to me. Crystal. I continue meeting her gaze. You'll call David again, tell him to come and work with me on a schedule. We're building a Christmas that works for everyone, not just you. She nods, her voice small but resolute. I'll do it, Margaret. I'm sorry for everything. The house creaks softer now, as if satisfied, and the lights flicker in a warm pattern like a heartbeat. I feel Clara's presence, her legacy guiding me, and know this is the moment to turn conflict into connection. But before we move forward, I need to address the mystery that's been nagging at me. Crystal's mention of Rose's stories about this house, her inexplicable pull to it, feels like a thread I haven't fully pulled. Crystal. I say, my voice low. You said. Rose talked about this place. What did she say? The room stills the ocean's hum, the only sound. Crystal hesitates, her eyes flicking to the ceiling where the attic creaked moments ago. She said it was magical, she whispers, that it held stories, memories. She used to visit Myrtle Beach as a girl, said she stayed in a house that felt alive. When you bought this place, I thought maybe it was the same one. Her words send a chill through me, the seashells pulsing hotter in my pocket. Rose's connection to this house to Clara's legacy is no coincidence. The librarian's stories, the newspaper clipping about the family evicted in 1934, the seashells appearing like omens, they all point to a deeper truth. Did Rose say anything else? I ask, my voice steady despite the house's sudden hum. Crystal shakes her head, but her eyes betray a flicker of fear, as if she senses something she can't name. The attic creaks sharp and deliberate, and Susan gasps, her hand jerking away from the seashells. "What is this place?" she whispers. "It's my home," I say, my voice a quiet command. "And it chooses who belongs." The words echo Clara's story, and the house hums louder, the lights flickering in a pattern that feels like a nod. I don't fully understand the house's power, but I feel it a force aligned with my own. For now, I set the mystery aside, focusing on the task at hand. "Let's start fresh," I say, standing. "We're going to make this Christmas right together." The family nods their faces, a mix of relief and determination. I feel the shift, a turning point, and know it's time to reveal my surprise. "Follow me," I say, leading them to the garage where a secret has been waiting since I moved in. The house hums as I open the door, revealing a 12-foot Christmas tree, its branches bare but majestic, surrounded by boxes of ornaments, tinsel, and lights. The family gasps, the children's eyes wide with wonder. "Where did this come from?" Jenny asks, her voice awed. "It came with the house," I say, smiling. "I found it in storage along with everything we need to make it shine." The truth is more complex. I discovered the tree weeks ago, hidden behind a locked door in the garage, as if Clara herself had left it for me. A note, yellowed and brittle, was taped to the base for the keeper of the house. The seashells had pulsed when I found it, a sign I couldn't ignore. Now, as the family stares, I feel Clara's presence, her legacy, urging me to unite them. "Everyone gets a job." I say, my voice warm but firm. "Jenny, you and the kids pick ornaments. Brad, you're on lights. Henry, Susan, handle the tinsel and garland. Crystal, you're with me on the star." They move hesitant at first, then with growing purpose. The house hums its energy, a quiet encouragement, as if Clara is watching, pleased. The children giggle, sorting through glittering baubles, while Brad untangles strings of lights with surprising patience. Henry and Susan, their earlier entitlement forgotten, drape tinsel with care, their banter lightening the mood. Crystal stands beside me, holding the star, her eyes still red but hopeful. As we work, the house seems to come alive, the lights flickering in sync with our movements, the attic silent for the first time today. The seashells in my pocket pulse gently, their warmth a steady guide. I watch Crystal, her hands trembling as she hands me the star, and see a change, a willingness to learn to grow. "I'm sorry, Margaret," she whispers, her voice barely audible over the children's laughter. "I wanted to be like Grandma Rose, to bring everyone together. I didn't know how." I nod, my heart softening, but my resolve firm. Rose was a force, but she planned with care, with respect. "You can learn that, Crystal." She nods, tears welling again, but they're different now, cleansing, not manipulative. The house hums, its energy warm, as if approving our truce. We place the star together, our hands brushing, and the tree lights up, the bulbs glowing brighter than they should, as if fueled by the house's power. The family gasps, the children cheering, and I feel Clara's presence, her legacy woven into this moment. The room transforms the chaos of the morning, replaced by a shared purpose. The tree stands tall, its branches heavy with ornaments, tinsel sparkling in the light. The ocean outside is calmer now, its waves a gentle rhythm mirroring the shift in the room. I step back, watching the family work together. their earlier resentment replaced by a fragile unity. Jenny organizes the children into a game of hanging ornaments, their laughter filling the space. Brad usually gruff hums a Christmas carol as he adjusts the lights. Henry and Susan, their faces softer, share a quiet moment, their hands brushing as they drape garland. Crystal stands beside me, her eyes on the tree. "This is what I wanted," she says softly. "Not the chaos, not the fight. This." I nod, feeling the house's approval, its energy a warm pulse in the walls. "This is family," I say, "not taking, but building together." She nods, her face a mix of relief and resolve, and I know the first lesson has taken root. Respect is the foundation of connection. But the mystery lingers a shadow at the edge of my mind. Rose's stories. Crystal's pull to this house, the seashells glow, they all point to something deeper, a purpose I haven't fully uncovered. As we finish the tree, I notice a fifth seashell on the coffee table, its spiral glowing faintly as if placed by an unseen hand. I slip it into my pocket, its warmth a quiet warning. The house is still speaking, and I sense Clara's legacy is tied to what's coming. For now, I focus on the moment, the family's laughter, a fragile bridge to tomorrow. David arrives late that night, his car pulling into the driveway as the tree glows through the window. Crystal runs to him, her apologies spilling out before he's fully through the door. He looks at me, his eyes heavy with regret. "Mom, I'm sorry. I should have known." I hug him, my heart full. "You're here now," I say. "That's what matters." The house hums its energy, a warm embrace. And I know we're on the path to something new, a Christmas built on respect, guided by the house's quiet power. As the family settles, I stand on the deck, the ocean stretching before me, its waves a promise of peace. The seashells pulse Clara's presence a steady guide. We've turned conflict into connection, but the mystery remains a thread waiting to be pulled. For now, I let the ocean's song wash over me, ready for the lessons and truths yet to come. The ocean whispers its approval tonight, its waves a gentle hymn of reconciliation carrying the promise of a new dawn. I stand in my Myrtle Beach beach house, the 5 seashells in my pocket pulsing softly, their warmth, a quiet testament to the house's watchful presence. Christmas Eve has transformed from a battlefield of betrayal to a fragile tapestry of unity woven by the family's efforts to decorate the tree and their tentative steps toward accountability. At 72, I've learned that true power lies in setting boundaries that foster respect, not resentment, and tonight, I feel the weight of that truth. The house hums its energy, a warm embrace, as if Clara, its former guardian, is guiding us toward a Christmas that will redefine this family. Yet the mystery lingers, Rose's connection to this house. The seashells glow, Crystal's hidden pull, and I sense the final truth is near waiting to be unveiled. The living room glows with the light of the 12-foot Christmas tree, its branches heavy with ornaments, tinsel shimmering like starlight. The family has settled into an uneasy peace, their earlier chaos replaced by a shared purpose. Crystal, her face still raw from her confession, sits beside David, who arrived late last night, his presence a grounding force. Henry and Susan Walsh, their entitlement, softened sip coffee on the couch, their hands brushing in a quiet moment of connection. Jenny's children sleep upstairs, their laughter from the tree decorating lingering like a melody. Brad, usually gruff, hums a carol as he adjusts a misplaced ornament, his practicality now a gift to the group. The house creaks softly from the attic, a sound I've come to recognize as Clara's approval, and the seashells in my pocket pulse, urging me to guide this moment to its conclusion. Christmas morning dawns with a golden light, the ocean calm and reflective, as if mirroring the peace we're building. I wake early, slipping onto the deck to watch the sunrise, the seashells warm in my hand. The house feels alive, Its energy, a steady pulse, as if Clara is preparing for the day ahead. I think of Harold, my late husband, his voice echoing in my memory. You're stronger than they know, Maggie. He was right, but it took this house, this challenge, to make me see it. Crystal's invasion, her uninvited plan to bring 17 relatives to my sanctuary, was a betrayal, but it's become a catalyst, a chance to teach them what family truly means. Back inside, the family stirs the scent of coffee and cinnamon rolls filling the air. Brad, true to his assigned task, has organized breakfast, his grocery run, yielding a spread of pastries, fruit, and juice. Jenny's children tumble downstairs, their eyes wide at the gifts under the tree. Small tokens I'd prepared weeks ago, knowing this moment would come. Crystal and David sit close, their hands clasped, her earlier bravado replaced by a quiet resolve. Henry and Susan, their faces softer, help the children sort gifts, their earlier complaints forgotten. The house hums its lights, flickering in a warm pattern, as if Clara is watching, pleased. As the children open their gifts, tearing through wrapping paper with gleeful shouts, I gather the adults in the kitchen, my voice low but firm. We need to talk. I say, my gaze sweeping over them. Yesterday was a start, but today we set the foundation for what comes next. Crystal looks up, her eyes red but steady. You're right, Margaret. We messed up. I messed up. Her voice breaks, and David squeezes her hand, his support a silent promise. Henry clears his throat, his voice gruff but sincere. We owe you an apology, Margaret. We assumed you'd take on Rose's role, hosting us like she did. We didn't think about what it cost you. Susan nods, her hands fidgeting with a seashell on the counter, its faint glow unnoticed by her, but vivid to me. Rose made it look easy, she says softly. She'd have everyone together, cooking, laughing, no questions asked. We thought you'd want that too. Her words stir a memory. Rose Walsh, the family matriarch, orchestrating gatherings with a warmth that hid her effort. I see now why Crystal was drawn here, why she thought this house could fill Rose's void. But the seashell's pulse and the house creaks, a reminder that this place demands more than blind tradition. You're right, I say, my voice steady. Rose was extraordinary, but she chose that role planned. It communicated it. You assumed I'd step into her shoes without asking, without considering my life, my business. I gesture to the house, its walls humming softly. This isn't just a house. It's my sanctuary, my livelihood. You treated it like a free hotel, and that's where we went wrong. Crystal nods, tears welling. I see that now. I wanted to bring us together, but I did it all wrong. The house creaks, a gentle sound, as if Clara is listening, approving. I feel her presence, her legacy guiding me, and know this is the moment to teach the lesson that will bind us. Family isn't about taking. I say, my voice firm but kind. It's about respect, communication, and sharing the load. You're here now, and we're going to make this Christmas right, but it starts with boundaries. I pull out my notebook, its pages now, a blueprint for unity. We'll plan the rest of the week together. Meals, activities, cleaning, everyone contributes. No one takes without giving. Henry nods, his face earnest. Fair enough, Margaret. Tell us what to do. Susan. Her earlier defiance gone adds, we want to make this right. For you, for the kids, for Rose's memory. The mention of Rose sends a shiver through me, the seashells pulsing hotter. I sense her connection to this house, to Clara's legacy, is key to the mystery I have been chasing. Crystal, I say, my voice low, tell me more about Rose's stories. What did she say about this place? Crystal hesitates, her eyes flicking to the seashell on the counter as if sensing its power. She said it was a place of strength, she whispers, that it held memories, protected those who belonged. She stayed here as a girl in the 1950s when it was a boarding house. She talked about a woman, Clara, I think, who ran it like a fortress, only letting in those who respected it. The house hums the lights, flickering in a pattern that feels deliberate. And Susan gasps, her hand jerking away from the seashell. "What is this place?" she asks, her voice trembling. "It's my home," I say, my voice a quiet command. And it chooses its keeper. The words echo Clara's story, and the seashells burn in my pocket, their warmth a confirmation. Crystal's eyes widen as if she feels the house's energy, and I know I've struck a nerve. Rose felt it too, I say, piecing it together. She knew this house was special, that it demands respect. That's why you were drawn here. Crystal, even if you didn't understand why. She nods her face, a mix of awe and guilt. "I thought it could fix us," she says, "but I didn't know how to ask." The house creaks, a soft sound, as if Clara is satisfied with the truth. I feel her presence, her legacy, a beacon, and know this is the heart of the lesson. You don't fix a family by taking, I say. You build it by listening, planning, respecting. That's what Rose did, and that's what we'll do now. The family nods, their faces earnest, and I feel the shift, a new foundation forming built on the boundaries I've set. We spend the morning planning the notebook, filling with tasks and schedules. Brad takes charge of the meals, coordinating with Jenny to plan kid-friendly activities. Henry and Susan, their earlier entitlement, forgotten, volunteer to clean and manage laundry, their hands moving with purpose. Crystal, her resolve growing, sketches a schedule for the week, her pen steady as she consults with David. The children, oblivious to the deeper currents, play under the tree, their laughter a reminder of what's possible. The house hums, its energy warm and encouraging, as if Clara is guiding us toward harmony. As noon approaches, we gather around the tree for a Christmas toast. I pour juice for the children, wine for the adults, and raise my glass. To family, I say, my voice steady. To respect, to boundaries, to building something real. The family echoes the toast, their voices a chorus of commitment. And the house hums, its lights glowing brighter as if sealing our pact. The seashells in my pocket pulse their warmth, a quiet celebration, and I feel Clara's presence, her legacy woven into this moment. But the mystery lingers a shadow at the edge of my mind. Rose's connection to this house. The seashells glow, crystals pull. They all point to a truth I haven't fully uncovered. As we sit for Christmas lunch, a simple spread of sandwiches and fruit, I notice a sixth seashell on the dining table, its spiral glowing faintly as if placed by an unseen hand. I slip it into my pocket, its warmth a warning and a promise. The house is still speaking, and I sense Clara's legacy will reveal one final secret before this Christmas ends. The day unfolds with a quiet joy, the family working together, their earlier chaos replaced by a shared purpose. Jenny organizes a sandcastle contest on the beach, the children's laughter echoing over the waves. Brad grills burgers for dinner, his practicality a gift to the group. Henry and Susan, their faces softer, share stories of Rose, their memories a bridge to the past. Crystal and David, their bond strengthened, plan next year's Christmas, their voices filled with intention. I watch from the deck, the ocean stretching before me, its rhythm a reminder of the strength I've found. As night falls, I stand in the living room, the tree glowing, the family settled in a rare moment of peace. The house hums its energy, a warm embrace, and I feel Clara's presence, her legacy complete for now. We've built something new today, a family grounded in respect, guided by the boundaries I've set. But the seashells pulse, and I know the final truth, Rose's story. Clara's secret waits in the shadows, ready to be unveiled. The ocean sighs tonight, its waves a soft lullaby of closure, carrying the weight of a Christmas transformed from chaos to connection. I stand on the deck of my Myrtle Beach beach house, the 6 seashells in my pocket pulsing gently their warmth, a quiet testament to the house's enduring presence. At 72, I've faced grief, betrayal, and the quiet erosion of my own boundaries. But this week has been a revelation, a testament to my strength and the power of setting limits. The family once invaders now sits inside their laughter, mingling with the glow of the Christmas tree, a symbol of the unity we've built. Crystal's reckless plan to claim my sanctuary for her 17 relatives has become a lesson in respect forged through confrontation and redemption. Yet the mystery remains Rose's connection to this house. The seashells glow Clara's legacy, and I sense the final truth is near waiting to be unveiled under the watchful gaze of the ocean. The house hums softly, its energy a warm embrace, as if Clara, its former guardian, is ready to reveal her last secret. The past week has been a journey from Crystal's audacious call to the tense confrontation with invoices to her tearful confession and the family's collaborative effort to rebuild. Christmas morning brought apologies and a shared purpose with the family embracing the boundaries I set. Now, as the holiday draws to a close, I feel a sense of triumph, not just over Crystal's presumption, but over the doubts that once whispered I was too old, too soft to stand my ground. The seashells pulse, and I know the house has been my ally, its power intertwined with my own. Inside the living room is a scene of quiet joy. The 12-foot Christmas tree done glows its ornaments catching the light like stars. Jenny's children play with their gifts, their laughter a melody of innocence. Brad, his gruff exterior softened, organizes leftovers from our Christmas feast, his practicality now a gift to the group. Henry and Susan Walsh, their entitlement replaced by gratitude, sit close, their hands clasped, as they share stories of Rose as their late matriarch. Crystal and David, their bond strengthened, pore over a notebook sketching plans for next year's gathering. The house creaks softly from the attic, a sound I've come to recognize as Clara's approval, and the lights flicker in a warm pattern as if sealing our new beginning. I step inside my presence, drawing their eyes. Crystal looks up, her face softer now, free of the calculated edge that marked her arrival. "Margaret," she says, her voice steady, "we've been talking about next Christmas. We want to do it right this time, plan ahead, share the load, respect your space." David nods, his eyes warm with pride. "Mom, you taught us something this week. We're not letting it go." The family murmurs agreement, their faces earnest, and I feel a swell of satisfaction. The lesson has taken root. Family is built on respect, not assumption. I sit beside Crystal, pulling out a folder I've prepared a gift to guide their future. "This is for you," I say, handing it to her. The folder is labeled Family Gathering. Guide, its pages filled with tools I've crafted over the week, a budget template, a meal planner, a task checklist, a communication schedule. Rose made gatherings look effortless, I say, but they weren't. She planned, delegated, communicated. This will help you do the same. Crystal opens the folder, her eyes scanning the pages and tears well. "This is perfect," she whispers. I didn't know where to start. The house hums its energy, a quiet endorsement, and the seashells pulse their warmth, a confirmation. I feel Clara's presence, her legacy woven into this moment, and know this is the final piece of the lesson. Start with respect. I say, my voice firm but kind. Ask, don't assume. Share the work. Don't demand it. That's how you honor Rose and each other. Crystal nods, her resolve firm, and David squeezes her hand. "We'll do it right next time, Mom," he says. "No surprises." Henry speaks up, his voice gruff but sincere. "Margaret, we're sorry for assuming you'd take on everything. You've got a business here, a life. We didn't see that." Susan, her eyes soft, adds, "Rose would have loved this house. She'd be proud of how you handled us. Her words stir the mystery that's lingered all week, Rose's connection to this place, her stories of its magic, the seashells pulse hotter, and the attic creaks sharper now, as if Clara is urging me to pull the final thread. Susan, I say, my voice low, tell me about Rose and this house. The room stills, the ocean's hum, the only sound. Susan hesitates, her hand brushing the seashell on the coffee table, its faint glow unnoticed by her but vivid to me. She was a girl here in the 1950s, she says. She stayed in a boarding house run by a woman named Clara. Rose said it was special, like it could see into you, protect those who belonged. She never forgot it. When Crystal said you'd bought a beach house, Rose was so excited, said it felt like fate. The house creaks a loud crack, and the lights flicker in a pattern that feels deliberate. Crystal gasps, her eyes wide. I felt it when I called you, she says, her voice trembling, like the house was calling me. I thought it was just Rose's stories, but it was more. The seashells burn in my pocket, their warmth a revelation, and I know the truth is here in this moment. Clara was the keeper. I say, my voice steady. She guarded this house, chose who belonged. Rose felt it, and so did you, Crystal. But you didn't understand what it demanded. I stand my presence commanding the room. This house isn't just a place. It's a legacy, a trust. It chose me as its keeper, and it demands respect. I pull the seashells from my pocket, their spirals glowing faintly, and place them on the table. The family stares, their faces a mix of awe and unease. These appeared over the week, I say. Each one a sign, a warning. The house knew you were coming, and it helped me set the boundaries you needed. The attic creaks softer now, as if Clara is satisfied, and the lights glow steadily, a warm embrace. Crystal reaches for a seashell, her hand trembling, but pulls back as if sensing its power. I felt it, she whispers. I thought I could just take it like Rose would have. But I was wrong. I nod, my heart softening, but my resolve firm. You were drawn here for a reason, Crystal. Not to take, but to learn. The house let you in, but only because I was here to guide you. The family nods, their faces reflecting a new understanding, and I feel the house's energy shift, a final release of its vigilance. We spend the evening planning next year's Christmas, the notebook filling with ideas. Crystal takes charge, her pen steady as she assigns tasks, her earlier recklessness replaced by purpose. Brad suggests a potluck to share. Cost's Jenny proposes a kids' talent show, and Henry and Susan volunteer to coordinate travel. David, his pride in me palpable, adds, "We'll check with you first, Mom. No surprises." The house hums its energy, a warm approval, and I know we've built something lasting, a family grounded in respect, guided by Clara's legacy. As the family prepares to leave the next morning, their cars packed, their faces lighter, I hand Crystal the folder. Use this, I say. Make Rose proud. She hugs me, her tears genuine. Thank you, Margaret, for everything. The family echoes her gratitude, their voices a chorus of change, and I feel a swell of triumph. The seashells, now quiet in my pocket, are a reminder of the house's power, its role in this transformation. I walk them to the driveway, the ocean stretching before us, its waves a promise of peace. David lingers, his hand on my shoulder. Mom, you're incredible. I didn't know you had this in you. I smile. Harold's words echoing, "You're stronger than they know, Maggie." I didn't either, I say. But this house did. He nods, understanding, and drives away with Crystal, their car disappearing into the dawn. Alone, I return to the house, its energy calm, now the attic silent. I sit in my favorite armchair, the ocean glowing under the morning light, and sip a glass of wine. The seashells rest on the coffee table, their glow faded, but their presence enduring. I think of Clara, her legacy complete, and Rose, whose stories led us here. The house chose me, and I chose to stand to teach to triumph. A pod of dolphins arcs through the waves, their silhouettes a final sign, and I smile, at peace. The mystery is solved, the lesson learned, and the future ours to build shines as bright as the sea.